what I think I can do is start a whole new conversation based around one of my hottest takes, and that is Slipknot is a hardcore band. What's up, Spider Donuts? Welcome to another episode of Gorsenio's High School CD Book Lit Review, a show where I re-listen to the music of my youth and disappoint all the people who subscribe to this channel hoping for black metal. This week is a big boy, so y'all better get ready to dress up like a rockstar Batman video game henchman because we're talking about Slipknot's self-titled album. So you don't need me to tell you this, but Slipknot is maybe the number 2 band in the aggressive music world behind Metallica. Honestly, they might be number 1 at this point. They have their own festival, and I think the youths are probably more interested in Slipknot than Metallica, but I can't prove that, and I don't really want to do that type of math. As a child, I was definitely a nu metal kid. I was honestly an any metal kind of kid. I think when I was in 6th grade, AC/DC and Korn were my favorite bands at the same time. However, Slipknot was a band I avoided when I was in middle school because I judged that book by its cover. I had already heard the Insane Clown Posse at this point because they had songs on a wrestling video game that my friend played, and I did not like it. I have since actually revised my opinion of ICP, and I think they're really silly and fun, but y'all ain't ready to have that conversation yet. But yeah, at the time, I avoided Slipknot because I assumed they were rap clowns. However, in the summer before my first year of high school, I remember the bassist in my first ever band was pitching me a riff, and he put on Heretic Anthem to help explain it, and I was like, wait a minute, this is what Slipknot sounds like? They were shockingly heavy. I was expecting Rob Zombie at the heaviest. So this album is considered a classic of the nu metal genre, and I'm not sure what I could add to that conversation. However, what I think I can do is start a whole new conversation based around one of my hottest takes, and that is Slipknot is a hardcore band. That's right, I think Slipknot has more musically in common with hardcore than nu metal. When you strip away the costumes and the font and some of the lyrical content, they're basically a hardcore band, but like if all the dudes who got shouted out from side of stage were actually in the band. Alright, before we start this next song, I want to give a shout out to my deli man, Tony Dropkick. This guy was my father's best friend's cousin. He's in the band now. He plays baseball bat. This next song is called Sick with a C. If you know the words, let me hear you. Like, dude, by the time they drop Psychosocial, they're a Madball marching band. This actual album is probably as new as the band gets, and even though it's covered in DJ scratches and angsty rapping, I think it still has more in common with bands like Coalesce and Dead Guy than it does with Korn or Limp Bizkit. God, that's gonna piss people off.
Everybody, my next guest began playing together 5 years ago in their native Des Moines, Iowa. Today, they are one of the hottest bands in the country. Please welcome Slipknot!
Obviously, the songwriting isn't as mature and the time signatures aren't as weird, but they're gonna inch even closer to those comparisons with Iowa and some of their later work. Like, I don't know, the riffs are fast and ugly and they rarely bounce. The drums are usually a flurry of double bass or a thunderous 4 in the floor beat, but because they all dress like twisted metal trucks, we lump them together with Kid Rock. That sucks! I'm bringing this up not because I think we miscategorized Slipknot. I just think it's an example of how the record store snob version of gatekeeping keeps us up our asses a little bit, and we miss stuff that's probably closer to something we'd enjoy than we'd think. Like, I love Cold as Life, and I love Cirque du Soleil, and I think it's cool that there's a band that can give me both of those things at the same time. Let's talk about this album art. This looks like Arkham Asylum, but in the Adam West Batman. This looks like 9 very nice boys from America's heartland who are upstanding members of their community. Ennis, the crop is mighty large this year. You might want to ask for help.
I think you're right, Ma. I'll ask those Slipknot boys for help.
This looks like a flyer for all the available haircuts you can get at the barbershop at the dump. When I was a kid, I thought this was the scariest thing in the world. Now it just looks like a bunch of Target employees at a Halloween party. The CD case had one of those clear sides where you could see the band's logo. I think they were going for tribal tattoo, but it kind of just looked like one of those dried seahorses you can buy at the boardwalk. This looks like an episode of Scared Straight, but for gas station attendants who get caught stealing at work.
And that's why you always pay for your Sobe energy drink, motherfuckers! I pushed Doritos into my eyes!
This looks like a bowling team called Cereal Bowlers, and they don't get the pun. So yeah, to sum up, this album's fun. It sounds like shit, but that's honestly another reason why they're a hardcore band. But yeah, that does it for this week's episode. If you want to let me know what you thought of the album or beat the shit out of me at a Market Hotel show for disrespecting the genre and the culture with this take, I get it. Let me know if you want to meet at merch or fight outside in the comments. Next week, we're starting a whole new page. We got He Is Legend, I Am Hollywood, AFI's December Underground, Art Damage from Fear Before the March of Flames, and Atreyu's Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses.
It's 2 minutes to late night.